Alright, so the charcoal is finished. So what I'm going to be doing today is smithing. Lots and lots of smithing. I figured I could explain the whole process as well. Because there are a couple tools that can only be smithed. And one of the more important things you need for smithing is charcoal, and you're going to need a ton of it. So, once I actually have a hatchet made, an axe made, I'm probably going to go get some more wood. And get another pit going, because as soon as I think I'm done with charcoal, you need more. More and more and more. Dang it, I picked it up and it immediately spoiled. So something you can do with spoiled food that's in a crock or in a pot or in a bowl is throw it in... I forgot this was crazy deep. Throw it in water and it'll separate the spoil and you can keep it. Luckily, eating it doesn't make you sick. I am going to need some food, though. So, got an egg and some spelt grain. Oh. Does it need 2 eggs, though? That's the next question, I guess. It might need 2 eggs for that to count. Darn. But I can make some, I'll just make 5 servings. That way I can fill a crock as well. Do I have any... I don't think I have any firewood. Shoot. That's a problem. Do I have an axe? I do have an axe. I broke my tin bronze axe last time getting the wood for the charcoal, so don't have that one anymore. Was that a bush of some sort? Black currants? It was also black currants. I saw the branches in the middle, thought it was a branch bush that had popped up. Do that. Red currants. We've got some of the ones I planted before starting to flower now. Get that going. And then I'm going to go ahead and make a shovel. Did I put it in a chest here? I think I did, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, I put it right here. Okay, so I'm going to throw in 15 charcoal. Get this lit, and I'll bring you back as soon as it's all melted. Alright, as you can see, it's turned white hot and gotten rid of the menu up there. It was over in this slot here. I moved it over here. So I'm going to take my tongs, and the first bit of smithing we're going to do is actually super, super simple. I'm going to pour all of these molds. We're going to need an anvil. Alright, and then I always like to have a backup hammer and a backup pickaxe. So here's a pickaxe. I don't see my hammer mold here. There's my hammer mold. So I always like to have a backup hammer. The reason being, if you have a backup hammer and a backup pickaxe, if you break yours without noticing, you've got a backup and you're still in the Copper Age. If you don't have a hammer, you're kind of back to square one. You got to go and find bits of copper again. And I'm just going to make one of every tool that you can mold. And then the rest is going to get turned into ingots. Put that back there. We have enough to make 4 more ingots after this, so... Now we just need to wait for it to cool down. These guys here, I got these while I was panning. I was actually panning while I was waiting for that copper to heat up. You can turn them into a scrap weapon kit with a stick, a rope, and metal scraps. And with a scrap weapon kit with a stick, a rope, and then the metal scraps, what that is an item that you can use, and it'll craft a random scrap weapon. Could be a spear, could be a hatchet, could be a sword. Not bad. It's got really low durability, but it hits pretty hard. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go use up this hatchet before night really comes. I love these flowers. The lupines are gorgeous. That might be what I use for... This is a pine tree, I should check. For resin. Might be what I use for whenever I make a beehive. Or a bee farm. Always check your pine trees for resin. This one's probably too big for the rest of this axe. So I'm gonna do this one here. This one's probably too big for the rest of the axe too, honestly. But we can come back and finish it with the copper axe. Oh, I'm surprised. That actually... got it. Okay. Come on. Don't trust dirt. Never trust dirt. It's out to get you. Okay. I guess what I could do is just use the rest of the axe to make some firewood. Because I should head home now. Winter is approaching very quickly. So more than anything, I need to get a farm started. It's almost cool enough to take. This can go away now. Because I'm going to have copper falx blade. Get out of here. To the abyss. Okay, these are all finished. So... go ahead and just dump a whole bunch of stuff real quick. Make some inventory space. And then actually, I shouldn't have gotten rid of those tongs. Because I still need to pour the last two, or the last 4 ingots. I just remember there's 4 ingots remaining. Oh, it's solidified, dang. So what you have to do then is just heat it back up. Contains solidified copper. It'll let you know whenever it's not solidified anymore. Close out of that. Clay. Man, I have a lot of clay apparently. We'll move all the clay over there. That there. These there. Make a copper spear real quick. I could just keep that with me. Okay, it's time to make a bunch of tools. I don't know if I'll be going over prospecting this episode, but I will be doing prospecting soon, so it'll either fit into this episode or I'll start into next episode. The first thing I'm doing is getting a farm going, though. So that's definitely happening this episode. I'm going to set the envelope right here for now. And then something else we'll need is cobblestone. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cobblestone. Forgot that it makes them 2 at a time. You set it up like that, and that makes you a forge. Forge goes there. And then you take some coal or charcoal, either one works. And you put a couple in. Really, 1 is enough for 2 ingots. 1 is more than enough for 2 ingots. But then you just set that up and you set it on fire. Once it's lit, it's going to be heating these ingots back up. Perfect. Okay, we'll put that back there. We've got these guys all heated up now, so the smithing is really cool. You take one of these heated ingots and you put it on here, and then you choose which recipe you want to make. You can make the stuff that you mold, but I think that's a waste. It's just easier to just mold it, right? Things that you can't do, though. Copper rods, saw blades, scythe heads, shears, spears, wrenches, chisels. There's a whole lot of stuff that you really can't mold. Arrowheads, for example, is another one. And the first thing I'm going to make is actually a scythe. A saw blade and a scythe are going to be the first 2 things that I make. I'll show you why here in a moment. Now with the smithing, you press F to choose the direction you want to move the node, and then you just click it and it moves. There is a little bit of a nuance to it. Like if I were to move this one down, I'm not going to be able to move it down again. and you'll eventually get a feel for for where you can move it. But this one is attached to something on two sides of it, so it's not going to be able to move away from those sides. You have to move it towards them. So I can move it to the right, or I can move it back up, and either one would work. But I wouldn't be able to move it down or left. And then same for this one. It's attached on these three sides, so it can't move away from any of those three sides. I guess I can move away that way because it's got more strength there. You'll get a feel for it the more you do it. Oop, didn't mean to move right or left. Meant to move down. Okay, come on now. Thank you. The more you do it, the more you'll kind of get a feel for what parts can move and what parts can't. It can always move down. If there's a way to move down, it's perfectly fine to almost always move down. For example, I can move this up and then over. It's not a problem. And then whenever you have the outline filled for what you're making, you just chip off the rest. Or split off the rest is what's really called, is you're splitting the metal off. Now that is crazy hot. I have tongs in my offhand so I can carry them, but it is crazy, crazy hot. If you were to just touch it, you'll drop it and take a little bit of damage. What you can do is throw it in the water and it'll cool it down. Now you didn't have to do that with the scythe, because with the scythe head I can just stick it like this and it'll be fine. It would actually cool it off just by attaching a handle to it. The other thing I'm going to make is a saw. And then you can right-click to rotate as well. Just know that unless it's your last piece, there's a way to move it. So if you ever feel like you need to put another ingot on, you most likely don't. There's a way to move it as long as it's not your last piece that's not in the puzzle. Those are still soft copper. Okay. I do have a couple other things I want to make. So I'm going to go ahead and get that going. Again, one is more than enough, but I always do two just in case I forget about it. I should eat something. And then having something in your offhand actually increases your food train rate. So I'm going to put these over here. Got my pickaxe. The reason I saw that these were in the background, and I will almost always advocate for immediately harvesting cattails as soon as your cattails grow, harvest them. But I wanted to show you the importance of a scythe. If you have access to a scythe, there is no reason to ever harvest grass, tule, or cattails by hand. Because look at this, it's crazy fast. Instead of just harvesting them one at a time with your knife, you're harvesting up to a 3x3 area at the same time with the scythe. Look at that. Didn't take any time at all. Make sure nothing fell in the hole there. Just go around, collect it all up. Definitely definitely don't leave any grass behind either. Grass is valuable. It works on grass as well. And there's 2 modes actually, so you can do that and it'll trim the grass and the grass will grow back pretty quickly. If you have an area, for example, over here where I'm going to be making a farm where you don't want grass anyways, you can press F and switch the mode and it'll cut the grass all the way down and make it a flat block. Like over here, I'm going to be making a farm. As we'll clear out the grass, harvest it up. Because grass is valuable stuff, seriously. If you think you have enough grass, you probably don't. It's going to be useful, and it doesn't grow in the winter. From what I understand. I've actually not played winter yet, so we'll see how true that is, but I've been told it doesn't grow very well in the winter. You'll have trouble finding grass in the winter. So stockpile it. Good stuff, and you can store a whole ton of it in a whole little bit of in a little bit of space, because each of these is 8 grass. Just do this, and boom, I've got 88 grass right there, plus 4. Next thing I'm gonna make. Oop. See, you need the tongs. You really need the tongs in your offhand if you want to pick up anything that hot. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to make is shears. Another of, in my opinion, the most valuable items in the game. See, that's a case where it wouldn't move, so I tried a different direction that would make sense. And a lot of times, moving it towards metal will help it move. It's just a matter of figuring out which metal it wants to move towards. For example, this one's going to be down. If I tried to move that one left, I'll move it back into spot. If I try to move that to the left or the right, it's not going to move. If you move it down, boom. If it doesn't make sense, do more smithing. It'll make sense the more you do it. That one I don't think will move, no matter what direction I try to put it. So I'm just going to move this one. Boom. And then the next item I'm going to make, the trusty old knife. You always need a knife on you, and bone knives break crazy fast, so... Or flint knives, even with bone handles, will break crazy fast on you. Unfortunately, I don't think you can do a bone handle. No. Can't do a bone handle on copper. out of sticks? Nope, I got some right there. Perfect. Now the shears are going to be crazy hot, and you don't attach a tool to it. You don't attach a handle to it. So no matter what, you got to quench these guys. So I just throw in the water, wait for the sizzling to stop, and just like that, sticks are no longer an issue. We can come over here, and these guys get cleared just like that. No more punching bushes. I believe it increases the number of sticks you get as well. And so before you cut down a tree, you can take some shears with you, tear off all the leaves around it, and then cut it down. That'll not only get you a ton of sticks, but it'll save you a ton of axe durability as well. Totally worth doing it. Just like that, we're back up to 35 sticks. Be way more if I was doing trees instead of bushes. Oh, tongs, that's what I was going to put over there. I do have some other things I could make, but we'll do that later. First thing I need to do is I need to get a... I need to get a farm started. That's the main thing we're doing today, is getting a farm started. The flint knife can go away now that I've got a copper knife. To the abyss. Set this up against the wall. We're gonna use up this guy first, because that's taking up inventory space. Okay, so I need to go find some medium fertility dirt. Some medium fertility soil. So that I can get a farm started. Aw, dang. Just a little short. I'm not great at throwing the copper spears. I swear they don't go as far. So forest floor is a little tricky because it looks a little darker than low fertility soil, but it's usually just low fertility soil whenever you dig it up. Unless you find a place that has medium fertility, and then it's usually medium fertility. Basically what I'm saying is it matches the soil that's under it. We got pigs over here. That's good to know. I'm not looking to kill you right now, piggy. I'll come back for you, don't worry. But for now, leave me alone. I'm not gonna say no to some spelt. Oh, here we go. This is medium fertility. And some baby sheep. Nope. Okay, so take a whole bunch of this medium fertility home with us. I'll be coming back for those sheep and goats. So when I come back, I'll bring a very empty inventory because I need to anyways. I'll probably come back for each in separate trips, the goats and then the sheep. I'm a big fan of the... It's probably, you know, it's more efficient to just have one of the two, but I'm just such a big fan of the animals in this game. I want them all. Look at that. Like I said, copper stands out like a sore thumb in this place. Looks like more copper. Yep, more copper. That's my first bit of bony soil I've actually gathered. Okay, so the next step is to dig this up, probably starting here. We'll do a couple of plots just this size, so I'll do another one facing it, starting here. Is that 4 spots between it? I want 3 spots between it, I think. Crop rotation isn't going to be a huge thing that I can deal with early on, but it's something I'm going to prepare for, is crop rotation. So I'm going to make 4 fields, one of which will stay barren, not barren, like barren soil, but one of which I won't plant anything in. And then I'll rotate between the 3. Rotate between the 4 which nutrients get planted where. And I'll start that early on. It's not going to make a huge difference early on, but long term, it's going to end up making all the difference. Oh, come on now, really? I really hate dirt so much. I'm going to have to do packed dirt. I didn't want to do packed dirt for the edges, but I'm going to have to. Look at that. Even when I'm doing that, it's falling down. Gonna grab the scythe. Now, I made these for the purpose of crop rotation in the future. And more as a demonstration more than anything else. But I'm not going to be really utilizing that this year, just because I don't have the luxury of that right now. Okay. So now, I need to make a fence before I actually... get a whole bunch of these guys. That's not going to be enough, I don't think, but that's fine. We can make more. And then right around the edge, might actually do this as well. Just because it'll look nicer. Let's go one past. I'm obviously going to replace the ground here at some point. I'm not going to leave it as grass and stone. Okay. I think it's just like this for a gate. Yep, perfect. Boom. So it's important to gate in your area just because rabbits will be an issue. Alright. Sweet. Oh, didn't even break. Alright. next, you want some rope and some planks, and that gets you a bucket. I believe it's control, right click. Yep, control right click. It's not like Minecraft where you need a source block, like multiple source blocks to make. You just need one source block and it's infinite. This isn't the most efficient layout either, but I like it visually more than the most efficient layout. And I say if things don't look nice, what's the point in doing them? Alright, so this moisture should slowly be going up now. But to give it a kickstart, I'm going to go ahead and water it with a watering can. That way I can start planting right away, because I'm worried about planting into zero moisture. Beautiful. Alright. Everything's all watered. Now it's time to get things planted. Start by... This is my main hammer, this is main pickaxe. I need to make a backup pickaxe now. I can get rid of this shovel and those rocks. When I want all of my seeds. So what I would normally say is reserve 1 for N, 1 for P, 1 for K, and leave 1 empty, and then rotate them as they grow, because they'll deplete the nutrients as it grows. But I'm not going to worry about that this season. I'm just going to plant what I have. Namely, flax is going to be the big one that I need to get going. So I'm going to make sure all of these get planted. Beautiful. And we'll get rye going. This is spelt, I guess. If I can get... Is that all my spelt? That was all my spelt. If I can get 1 good harvest in before winter, we'll be pretty good off. Okay. We got everything planted, and now it's just a waiting game. Let it grow.